There's something about witnessing art and deriving our own meaning and lessons from what is being portrayed. Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly to the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive them to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Max Ehrmann. So the Desiderata was written in 1927, but shit, it could have just been written yesterday. Every single line in there rings true. Now, I'm deciding to switch it up a little bit and step away from the 5 ways to be a better leader or 10 things that every man in a relationship needs to focus on, or some other direct, playbook to help make your life better in some way, shape, or form. I'm deciding to stray away from that and really drop this poem for 2 reasons. The main reason, it is a poem that I have continued to go back to probably for the last at least 12 years. And it is something that I'll go back to in different seasons, of life. And there's always something that I'm seeing almost for the first time, even though I've read it 100 times before. Every time I open it up and look at it and read it, there's always a line that sticks out. I'm like, man, that's the thing that I need to hear right now. So it has personally been a rubric, a guide, a map to be the best man I can be throughout life, as my life has changed significantly in the past 12 years. So that's one reason. The second reason is that there is a certain learning that comes from art that can only come from art, right? Now, it doesn't matter if it's a painting or if it's a poem in this case, or a song or a play. There's something about witnessing art and deriving our own meaning and lessons from what is being portrayed that I really think it just like nails what freedom is, right? It's like being able to interpret the stimulus that is outside of us, being able to interpret the world at large and derive our own meaning from it, and therefore use that meaning to help us in whatever way, shape, or form. And it doesn't matter what, in this case, Max Ehrmann was wanted to convey to the readers, right? Because he can't control what we're going to take from it. And there's a beautiful freedom there as well. So those 2 reasons. Now, I could easily just go line by line in this poem and just really just take out all the gold that's from it, but I wouldn't want to rob you of that opportunity, right? I want it to be a tool in your tool belt. I want it to be a guiding light, like it's been for me, if you see fit. And also want you to be able to read it and listen to it and just go through it time and time again and have the opportunity to take the lessons out from it as it's most relevant for what you are going through at that point in your life when you are reading it. So I will give an overall view of it, and just why I love it so much and why I'm actually sharing it today. So there's two main elements from it. One, I think there's just such a beautiful balance of masculine and feminine in this poem. The masculine aspect I see as some of the direct to do, like things you should do. Listen to all other people. Take your career seriously. Go placidly amidst the noise. It's like do these things, right? And I think all the things that he has there are ways that enable us to be centered, grounded, and powerful men. So there's the masculine aspect there, right? And then there's this whole other feminine aspect to it that I see as all the aspects that are talking about we belong here, right? You're important. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself, even though he also states to be disciplined, right? And the final line, strive to be happy. You know, there's this element that life is difficult. There's all these things that are going around at all times. And, you know, keeping peace within our soul is the most important thing. You know, that's what he's stating here. And I see that as feminine, not in the sense that we don't require it as men, but in the sense that it is something I often deem as not very important because I have to figure out the answer to whatever difficulty is at hand here. Can you relate? So there's that element. And then, you know, this time around, I came back to this poem because probably like you, just going through a difficult time in life. You know, there's many moving plates. There's many things changing in my life right now. There's many things that plans that have fallen through are not going the way that I thought they would. There's things that are taking longer than I expected them to. And all in all, it's just like, you know, my plan that I had maybe 6 months ago looks very different than it does right now. And that has brought up a lot of dissatisfaction, distress, and discomfort in me, right? Can you relate to that? I'm sure you can. And, you know, the paragraph at the end where Max is talking about the universe unfolding exactly as it should, whether you know it or not. This is something that, again, it's not revolutionary. It's something that we've heard. I know you've heard. I've heard it a bunch of times. And a lot of times when I hear that, it has a very ethereal essence to it. It has a very just like love and light. You know, everything's perfect. Everything's happening exactly how it should. And sometimes it really pisses me off to either hear it or even think of it, because I feel like I should be grateful for all my difficulties, right? And I'm like, fuck, that's the last thing I want to do right now. However, when I read it this time, it changed. I saw it a little bit differently. Now, this could be because last night I was in a men's team meeting here in Tahoe City, Lake Tahoe Basin. And I was sharing some of the difficulties that I was going through with my team. And there was a common thread that was going around where kind of everyone was feeling a bit fatigued. And not just physically, not just like, you know, I got a lot going on at the end of the day and I'm really fucking tired, right? It's spiritual fatigue, mental fatigue, just like this overall like feeling beaten and battered and like I'm just trying as hard as I can and it's still not good enough and there's still more to do and I just don't know if I have the energy to do it. For me specifically, there was a fear that's coming up of like, man, I feel like I'm trying really hard at all the things that I have and I'm still not hitting all the marks. There's still, you know, many more items on the to-do list that I didn't get done. And I'm just fearful that if I'm feeling this fatigued right now, and I'm still not doing all the things that I feel I need to be doing, how am I ever going to reach the vision, right? How am I ever going to have the capacity to actualize the vision that I have if I'm like, I'm fucking tired and beat right now. And at that time, one of the men on my team said, when's the last time you sat back and reflected on the last year, 2 years, and celebrated? Fuck, well, I'm notoriously bad at celebrating myself. And a lot of guys are. A lot of times I see that as like, what's the point of celebrating myself if I'm not at the mountaintop that I'm aiming for, right? But going back, he said, when's the last time you've done that? I'm like, wow, it's been quite a while, actually. And a lot of the things that are occurring right now, although they're not where I foresee them being in X amount of months or years from now, they are things that I was praying for, a year ago, 2 years ago. So, okay, there's that proof that the universe is unfolding as it should. And then another guy, he's one of those guys that's got a bunch of businesses, failed businesses, started a new business. He's had a ton of businesses in his life, He's like, I see the point of where you're at, and can really relate to that essence of trying to decide, like, is this the thing that I do, or do I go here next, or do I put this thing down? And he's like, it's not a bad place to be. That's what he expressed to me. And sometimes you need to think on something for a year or two, or sometimes you need to learn a lesson from this business, and you actually need that thing to fail in order to open the space for the next thing to open up. And it was in that moment that I realized, or remembered, I should say, that myself and a lot of men that I'm in close relationship with are, we're in a rush to get to the Holy Grail, right? We're in a rush to get to the, to owning the home, and to having the toys, and to having the freedom of time, and to make all the money to do all the things, right? And until we get, it's like almost like we can't be happy until we get to that point. I can't be happy until I get to that point. Now, saying this now in this reflective state, I obviously know that's not true. Like, I can totally be happy in the process, but a lot of times when I'm in the process, I'm like, I'm not happy because I'm not there. And not only am I not there, I feel like I'm not getting there fast enough. So all that is to say, sometimes you got to trust your plan, even if your plan isn't working the way that it seems like it should, or the way that you planned for your plan to work, if that makes sense. A lot of planning there. So, in all of that, continue to trust your gut, continue to take the next clear step that's right in front of you, and continue to trust that things are unfolding exactly as they should. And not necessarily in that woo-woo sense, but in the sense that if you take a moment and look back a year ago, how different is your life now from then? How much closer are you to the end goal than you were a year or two from right now? A year or two past from right now, right? So trust that you're moving in the right direction. And as you move in that right direction, continue to keep your peace, continue to keep your center, continue to trust your voice and speak your truth clearly, and continue to know your worth, continue to know your importance, and continue to love yourself despite not necessarily being where you want to be. Because although if you are not there yet, just know that you're moving in the right direction. And if you need proof of that, look to the past a bit. And if all that fails, just call up a bro. Call up someone that you love, someone that you trust, someone that knows you well. Share with them what's going on. Get it off your chest. Read this poem one more time, and then continue to put one foot in front of the other. Keep moving forward, because you're going to get there. All right. Read the Desiderata again. Let it impact you. Swirl it around and continue to extract all the lessons from it. I hope this poem impacts you and really lifts up your spirit as much as it does mine. Much love.